Hello and welcome to another episode of Christine's Coloring and Crafts. I'm Christine, and I thought, since I only got 3 whole pages done in June, my goodness, the time just flew by, that we would go ahead and do a quote-unquote hair tutorial. Basically, I'm no expert. I want y'all to know that. I'm not a professional or anything like that. I only say hair tutorial because a lot of other people do. But anyway, it's just, the way I see it is how I do hair. And we got one of Mariola Budek's hair inspirations. And I am going to try my favorite color combination for hair with the Prismacolors. Normally I do these with the Derwent Lightfast. I know not everybody has Derwent Lightfast, or for that matter, not everybody has Prismacolors either. But I figured we could experiment with the Prismacolors too and see if the hair comes out just as nicely. But like I said, this is a Mariola Budek Hair Inspirations. And today's colors we're going to use will be Dark Umber PC947. And then Burnt Ochre PC943. And then we're going to have Mineral Orange PC1033. And then my little bit shorter Goldenrod PC1034. And then last but not least, we're going to have Sand, which is PC940. That's going to be our highlight color. Now, these 3 here are going to look very similar together. They are really, really close to each other. But in the end, I'm really hoping that they will turn out just fine. Let me get a water out of my little mini fridge here, because when I do a lot of talking, I'm thirsty. And I only have a little bit left in the bottle that's in front of me. Excuse me. My allergies have been acting up a little bit, mostly because I've been outside working on the yard here. Alright, I'm going to turn her upside down, and I'm going to start at the top here with the Dark Umber. That's going to be my darkest color. And then, I don't know if I was just going through a dry spell or what. But I just did not color much. Most nights after I got off of work, I was just so tired. I mean, I love the new position. It's really challenging brain-wise. I think maybe some of it has to do with the fact that I am on day shift and I chose an even earlier start time than during my training period. But I think everything's going to work out in the end, eventually. I think a lot of it, too, has to do with the fact that June was just a very rainy month here in Ohio. In fact, it's been a couple of weeks that I've seen more than 1 hour of sunshine, like I'm seeing today. We've got some sun out. And then, oh, this is the Burnt Ochre. And it's still going to kind of go in the darker areas. But yeah, it's been a while since I've seen a good fair amount of sunshine going on here in Ohio. And I really think that sometimes my mood is just extra affected by lots of cloudiness. No scientific evidence. Just going off of basing off of experience, I guess. But let's hit up the Mineral Orange here, and you'll see in a minute how close these guys really are in color. Very close. Like, the Burnt Ochre is just barely darker than the Mineral Orange. Might not even be able to see the difference on camera, I'm not sure. And I usually don't do Prismacolors for hair because they're just too soft. But I have just, I don't know. I woke up today going, I really want to play with my Prismacolors. And here we are onto the Goldenrod. Honestly, my favorite pencils to use for hair are my Derwent Pro Colors and my Faber-Castell Polychromos, because they're very hard pencils. I did experiment with the Ram Refine or Ram Raffine. I got a used set really super cheap off of Amazon. I do not like the pencils on Amazon paper, so we will try them another day. And really I want to bring that back down, so let's go back to the goldenrod. I like highlight, but like not a whole lot of it. There we go. But anyway, I just had not colored a lot in June. Most nights I ended up vegging out in front of the TV or playing with the birds or messing with my plants or watching the TikTok. More playing on Instagram. Now the darkest color you don't, well, I can't say you don't because everybody's tastes are different, but I don't like to use a super ton of. It's how I like to create the hills and valleys and depth and dimension, I guess you call it. And we won't do all of this hair because, y'all, it'll take forever to do this hair, especially with Prismacolors, because I am not good with the flicking of the Prismas. But I'm not complaining either. Like I said, I've been in the mood to play with them. I've literally got, I don't know, I'd say between all of them, maybe 700-800 Prismacolors, a whole lot of duplicates. Because a lot of times these work really, really great on Amazon paper. They work really, really great on any paper. And like I said, the only reason I don't really like using them for hair is because they're so soft. But you could do it. There's a lot of YouTubers out here that use Prismacolors with lots of success for hair. Lots of success. Me, I'm just about to get out my eraser, because that's going to be a highlighted area. Anyway, me, I'm just not, I guess, as experienced with it as some people are. But I still think it turns out really, really nice. In the end, it just takes me a little bit more effort. I'll come back here, get this burnt ochre right there. There we go. Make it just a little bit darker. And don't be afraid to put colors on top of each other to create new colors. That's one really good thing Prismacolors are good for. If you don't have Prismacolors, I do recommend you get you a small set. Try them out. They got lots of sets of 12s and 24s. And like, I think 36 and 48. And I gotta kind of laugh at myself today because back when I first started coloring, everybody was like, oh, get you some Prismacolors, get you some Prismacolors. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna try these Prismacolors, and I hated them. I hated them because they broke all the time. My goodness, that's all they did. And I think just my first experience was I got some bad sets. But once I got some good sets, and don't get me wrong, they still do break a lot easier than other pencils, but once I got some good sets, I started liking these. I'm not going to use the darkest color anymore. It's dark enough in there. It's dark enough. So we'll just put that one aside and get these guys back out. I also find you don't have to do as many layers with Prismacolors as you do with other pencils. It's another thing that, actually I am going to get the dark one out. Kind of put a little row in here. And then kind of feather it out there. There we go. You do have to sharpen them a lot more, even though I turn them a lot while I'm coloring. I do find that they need to be sharpened a little bit more than other pencils, but you are not going to find a softer, easier to work with pencil out there. breakage issues and all. And when I got the refines, whatever they are, we'll just call them rams. When I got the rams, I thought they're pretty decent looking pencils. Get the burnt ochre back out here. Just put a little bit in here. And I'm going to go over it with the mineral orange. Kind of lightens it up and brings it out at the same time. Look at that. Isn't that pretty? But anyway, when I got the rams, I thought they were nice looking pencils. And I sharpened them, got them ready. And I started using them in one of my coloring books with Amazon printed paper and immediately regretted it. I'm trying to force myself to finish the picture, but I definitely didn't want to use it for the video. So, I don't like it at all. I think the next thing I'll do, because I don't immediately rule out a pencil just because I don't like it on a certain type of paper. I have learned from other YouTubers and from my own experience that paper is important. Sometimes when a pencil doesn't, when you're just like, ugh, on one paper, you find a paper and the pencils are absolutely fabulous. And that's why I was saying, get you some Prismacolors to kind of try out, because honestly they work on any paper. Oh, there went one bottle of water. And today's music is ambient study music to concentrate, in which it does not really necessarily help me concentrate, but it does help me feel good. Let me get this sharpened. Now there's another YouTuber. Oh, that's the Prismacolor one. Never mind. This is actually a Sanford Prismacolor, or a Lightfast Prismacolor blender. I don't know if it is actually Lightfast. I highly doubt it, but it came with the Lightfast collection. And when you're doing hair, try to start with your highlight color first when you're doing the blending. That way you're not accidentally dragging down your dark colors into your lights. Unless that's kind of something you want to do. Like you want to feather this part out here a little bit. Go ahead and drag your darkers into your lighters. Now I wouldn't drag the darkest into the lightest. But if that's something you're interested in doing to experiment with, I definitely encourage it. I highly encourage any experimentation. Do what you can. You know, see if you like it. See, and so far that's not turning out too bad. It's a little bit darker than the Derwent Lightfasts that I use. Now this is the Lyra Rembrandt Splendor Blender. And this doesn't do the same thing as other blender pencils, or like the Prismacolor blender pencil. It does not necessarily cover the white of the paper too much, as I've learned, but it does, when you go right there where the colors meet each other, it blends them in really nicely. Some people don't like to use blending pencils at all. I love it, because most of the time it saves me a layer or two. And I like the Splendor Blender because when you go right in between where the colors meet, it does bring them together really nicely. Love how it does that. And then the Prismacolor blender is for covering the whites of the paper that may be left behind. And just some additional blending. Alright, where's my dark umber? There she is. We'll go this way on the picture. And here, I'm just going to go super light with the darkest color, because while it does have the gray area where the grayscale goes, it's pretty dark, but I don't want it to be that dark. But I do want it to be a little darker than normal. So I'm going to go real light in that area. Because when I take the ochre over it, it's going to come out a little bit darker, but it won't be dark umber dark. It'll just be in some places a little bit darker than in others. And you'll see how that comes out here in just a minute. Or 10. Forgot to turn it that time. But here we go with the burnt ochre. And it's just going to turn that dark umber into a more reddish type color. And I'm going to keep it light still, because we'll just put several layers over it. We just will only use the darkest color like right in here. I'm not going to worry about this spot yet. That's just kind of for that area. And again, no expert here. This is just my experience. And I figure I'd share it with y'all. Maybe it'll help you out. At least I hope it does. Anyway. Today is July 4th, so if you live in America, you know that's America's birthday. And while I'm not huge on celebrating, I'm not against it. I'm just not huge on it. The only thing I have learned living in city limits is that the firework noises are 10 times louder. But I am blessed in that my animals do not care. Alright, now we'll have... Oh, let's put a little bit right here. Whoop! Got into the flower. There we go. And if you're interested, I have the AFMAT rechargeable eraser. It does come with a lot of replacements, but you can also buy extra replacements. And also, too... while we're all here, don't forget, if you're interested in trying something like the AFMAT eraser or some Prismacolor pencils, wait until Prime Day if you're a Prime member for Amazon. Well, Prime Days, that's going to be July, I think 11th or 12th. Yeah, 11th or 12th. Maybe you'll get some good deals on this stuff. I've taken advantage of Prime Day very, very often every year. Prior for a lot of art and coloring supplies and craft supplies. This year we're going to lean more towards stuff for the house. Mostly because there's some curious kitties who like to get in the cabinets. So we're going to get some child-proof, or we're going to look to see if we can get some child-proof cabinet locks, which will hopefully be kitty-proof too. See if we can get those on sale. And I don't intend on spending a whole lot. I may get a coloring book. I'm not sure yet. I've got so many coloring books that I need to color in. And so many PDFs to do. So I think I should probably lay off the coloring books for a while. Maybe see if some of the gel pens, like the Sakura sparkly pens, go on sale. I don't know, but I highly doubt it. I've got so much stuff now that I don't really see any reason to get stuff. I need to use what I got. And I think that's one of the reasons why I just suddenly got in this mood to use my Prismacolors, because these little puppies need some love. There are literally tons of them sitting everywhere. Oh, and one of the nice things, like about for the RAM pencils that I got, I just wanted to try them. But anyway, if I end up not liking them at all on any papers, well, that's okay, because that's just another set I could share with the kids at my sister's group home. And let them have fun with the pencils. What I usually do is I have a little box of pencils that I didn't like, and pencils I thought would be good for them, that they would love the colors and stuff, and they weren't too super expensive, because these guys do get rather rough with pencils. So I try to find pencils that aren't terribly expensive, but aren't really super soft like Prismacolors. I would never give these guys Prismacolors. They'd squish them in a second. They're way too soft. But some of the harder pencils, I really like giving them to them. They last them a little while, because honestly, they're hard on them too. Which is fine. I'm not complaining. I think it's a good thing these guys get some fun times with coloring. And we have like 5 or 6 people that join us, usually. And I color in one of my books. They all got these Disney books that they get to pick from and color in, or like I'll go to the freebie sites and print out freebie pages for them to color in. See, that's looking pretty good. And we're going to straighten up in here a little bit, back with the goldenrod. A little goldenrod down here. Now I know the usual rule of thumb is use your lightest color first, and then if you want to darken it up, use the darker color. But really, in some instances, like in this instance, I like how the darker color peeks out, but it's not super dark like it would be right in there. In other words, I wanted it to be darker, not lighter. Okay. Another thing that is really good for using pencils on here is keeping a sharp tip. So make sure you have nice sharp tips, or points, however you want to call it, and birds flying up to your window and seeing what you're doing. the blessings of second floor home. There we go. Probably a lot of birds are hanging out over there because the neighbors, who are literally not 6 foot away from my window, have given me the visual pleasure of their beautiful garden growing. I only do tomatoes, so watching their corn, they actually have corn stalks, which is awesome. Watching their corn grow and their lettuce and their cucumbers is quite fun. I may not always grow those things, but I do love watching plants grow. Watching my tomatoes grow this year, I decided to go ahead, and I need to get those planted. We'll talk more on that in a minute, but I decided to go ahead and start straight from scratch with seeds. And I honestly didn't think half of them would live. They all lived. So I've got a ton of seeds. And I'm really only sharpening that because of all the dark colors on there. And I want to do this light color here. Sometimes I do go backwards and forget. So I have to sharpen the darker colors off. Alright, let's do some blend in here. But anyway, I do enjoy watching the plants grow, and I enjoyed watching my tomatoes grow too. That was fun. There we go. I love how easily the pigment just smushes around with the Prismacolors. There we go. And I also too like to have an old makeup brush. I mean, I never used it for makeup. I got it at the dollar store back when the dollar store was $1 per item. And it just wipes off the crumbs so you don't accidentally smush them all over your page. Which is very important when it comes to Prismacolors, because they will smush and spread all over your page. I'm just going to add a little bit of the burnt ochre here to kind of give it that depth and dimension. Hopefully you guys are enjoying this. I am sorry we don't have a June finished pages. Like I said, I only got 3. Let me move my cover page here. I just was not having it with the coloring. And it wasn't because I didn't want to color, I don't think. I actually did want to color. Now here on this one, I definitely want it to be a lot darker than like over in here. So we're definitely going to go with the darkest color first. And we're not going to use the sand at all because this is a pretty shaded area. So we don't want a whole lot of light in there. And I know I keep saying we. I mean me. But yeah, it wasn't like I didn't want to color. It was just like, I was so exhausted after the day. Like, maybe I'll color tomorrow. Maybe I'll color tomorrow. Man, I'm tired. Maybe I'll color tomorrow. And that was just the theme for most of the month. I'll try to do better this month. I'm still pretty tired. But we did get... Well, I got a 4-day weekend, not because I wanted to. So far I'm seeing a pattern. I'm not even going to use the goldenrod there. And I'm just going to go ahead and smush them together with the Prismacolor blender. Because I think that looks perfect just the way it is. We'll just rough it up a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, this is why I think that my emotions are really tied to the weather. Because I have had 2 Mondays in a row now where I just could not get out the bed. I wouldn't say it was like super depression, woe is me stuff. It was just super tired. Like, dang. How am I so tired? And I ended up taking yesterday off. Not that I wanted to. Or like I said, I really do enjoy that new position I have. It's challenging, it's rewarding, a little bit frustrating. I'm still learning lots of stuff. Now here's where I'm going to go in with the lighter color and then come back with the darker color over it. But it's going to go really dark right there, so I'll put a little bit of heavy pressure there, like right in that area, and then kind of like go lightly over these areas. Anyway, whether you celebrate or not, I do hope you have a wonderful day today. If you do celebrate and you're setting off fireworks, please be safe. Always, always, always be safe. Oh no! See what I mean about breaking? A lot of it is just because they're so super soft. And look how significantly shorter the pencil got. But you see, it's sometimes, you know, now that they're made elsewhere, it isn't exactly got a very centered core. Companies are just trying to make things cheaply. Get the most bang for their buck. I see little light wisps up here. So I'm going to go ahead and do some mineral orange wisps. There we go. That's funny that one of the pencils did that right after I opened up with talking about how easily they break. And I don't see that a lot anymore. Not like that. So that was a little bit of a surprise. And I will say that's one of the nice things about the harder pencils is if they are off-centered, like the Prismacolors can be sometimes, they don't break as easily. Gotta sharpen this one. I think this is the most sharpening I've done in one video. Which is fine. As long as things turn out nice, we aren't going to worry too much about how it had to get there. I really love this burnt ochre because it really does look reddish. So it makes a nice auburn hair color. And I wish I can remember the name of the YouTuber. I think it's the lady who runs Color Me Stress Free that gave the hair color combination. I've been in love with it since. And I'm in love. Alright, let's go back to Mineral Orange and see how it does. So far so good. Hopefully it don't break again. If it do, it do. I think it is my last Mineral Orange though. But sometimes at the end of the summer I will go up to Blick. I'm working a little overtime, so I'll go up to Blick and get me some replacements. Hey, and maybe by then they'll also have the new Derwent Inktense colors. Ooh, maybe. And the new Prismacolor colors that replace the lilac and lavender. Another nice thing you could do if you don't have a blender pencil is what I'm doing right now. I'm taking one of the lighter colors. A lot of people will say take your lightest, but I like doing the second lightest because it doesn't really change the colors too much as the lightest color would. Just keep it out of your lightest area. And you can blend your colors that way. And if it does change it a little bit, just come back in with your darker colors. You just slide them on back in there. Which it looks like it changed it slightly, so we're putting it back. And then get rid of the little crumbs. And then come back with your darkest color. Hey, maybe after lunch I can finish her hair today. Unless y'all want to see it finished on camera, which is fine. Because we can also do the coloring of the flowers, the coloring of her skin and her outfit. Now, Prismacolors are my favorite to use for skin coloring. Both light, medium, and dark skin tones. Oh, you can come up with some of the prettiest color combinations with Prismacolors for skin. But I think that's all we'll do here today because I don't want to make the video super long. And I hope you guys did enjoy seeing how I color hair. We can experiment with other colors if you want. Just let me know in the comments below. I'll come up with some different color combinations if you want me to. Also, tell me what you want to see. Let me know what you're interested in. And I do have Instagram. You can follow me over there. I have a Facebook group that needs some love. It hasn't gotten in a whole lot of love. I haven't even loved it. I need to love it more too. But anyway, thanks so much for stopping by, and I hope y'all have a colorific rest of your day and enjoy the rest of your week. Thanks. Bye, guys.